The goal of the horoscope is the actualization of the sun sign. Venus is responsible for a particular aspect of that quest. Her placement speaks to your attractions, your values, your sensibilities, and your decorum, or who and what you decorate your life with. She's the first planet that deals specifically with your romantic love nature. Your choice in a romantic partner, more than just about anything, shows what you love and what you value and what shape your self-value is in. What is Venus in Aries attracted to? What does she value? For this, we have to go back to the beast associated with Aries. The ram is a good symbol for this sign because it's always energetic, always ready for a contest, and always on the move. I was lucky enough to see two rams fighting one winter in Europe many years ago. And the only reason I noticed the two butting heads down the hill was because when their horns met, the sound was like thunder crackling. The woman I was walking with told me that they would go on with that simple contest of brute strength until one of them was on the ground and couldn't get back up. The thing that impressed me was how deliberate the fight was, how determined they were to display their power. So what happens when the goddess of love is in the sign of the ram, the sign of war? Love is battle. In fact, I've seen that up close with two different Venuses in Aries where love was definitely war. However, the more common way to express this Venus is by having a reverence for strength of all kinds. The feminine ideal for this Venus is a strong woman, a frontierswoman in the Old West who's out in a field pulling a plow, swinging an axe, and tending the hearth fire. Femininity for Aries means a woman definitely isn't a doll. That's not interesting enough. This Venus gets her hands dirty and gets the job done. You see, the point is to conquer. Conquer the work ahead, conquer the challenge, conquer the fear. Even the body ideal of Venus in Aries tends to be strong and healthy and fit because that shows they've conquered their form. They have dominion over it. This placement always goes back to strength. Venus is a receptive principle too. Her placement shows what we're most likely to open up to in life, what experiences we draw in and are drawn to. If given a random set of experiences to choose from, this placement will go toward the exciting ones, the fieriest, most dynamic ones, the competitions that test skill, the ones that are spontaneous and creative. Venus here can't help herself, and she doesn't want a humdrum relationship that's steeped in security and sameness. She feels most appreciated by a partner and appreciates the partner most when they are as a couple working side by side. Venus in Aries wants a comrade in arms. They want to coordinate positions and get in sync as a team. Why? Because this Venus needs to feel stronger with you than without you. There's a deep need here to feel alive, and by that I mean feel vital and hopefully have some minty exhilaration. Love has to be fun and new and surprising and charismatic. If Venus in Aries feels like dealing with you is akin to pushing a noodle, the flame of romance gets snuffed out fast. It's one thing to cover you when the bullets are flying. The part they can't stand is if you check out and aren't there for the handoff at the critical moment. I know a Venus in Aries very well. And when I asked her about her husband, I wasn't surprised to hear that her favorite thing is that he funds her crazy, risky ideas. He buys into her visions and the trail she wants to blaze. The time she loves their marriage most is when they're both deeply committed to ramming both of their heads against the same challenge, because that's when she feels the horsepower factor. When they're both on the same task, they're unstoppable. All the Venuses in fire tend to go toward relationships that are spirited and zestful. They have a tendency to be volatile too. And I want to propose that the conflict and friction may keep them always in pursuit of each other, and that keeps their love fresh. Another value of Venus in Aries is persistence. This sign is able to keep on and on with the same idea, the same line of thought. And it isn't the stubbornness of Taurus the bull, it's the direct, uncomplicated strategy of continuous headbutting. It's a test of who has the hardest head and who can endure the longest. When Venus is in the sign of Aries, she actually acts more like her sister Athena. Athena was the goddess of war who sprang from Jupiter's head fully grown and already in a suit of armor ready for battle. One of the interesting things about the sign of Aries is that it tends to elicit strong responses from other people, especially the unconscious emotions like fear and anger. It's a byproduct of being an agitator at heart, a mobilizer, an activist, especially if the cause involves a rescue of some kind. Regarding the sensibilities of the ram, they find it right that the stronger and freer and more energetic should swoop in and help those in bondage who may be weaker. So you can imagine what one of the pathological expressions of this Venus is. They hunger for the unfair fight. They're provocative. And they can become a bully looking for a feeling of power and influence that they haven't earned. More commonly, though, this placement has a good heart. They're just socially insensitive. They have a thick skull when softness and subtlety is in order. And of course, the boldness of fire can cause combative and obnoxious moments. There's always a risk of that if you haven't mulled something over long enough. For Aries, stuff can kind of pop out and unfold in the moment prematurely, but they also tend to recover quickly. Venus in all the fire signs is resilient. In the chart, the placement of Venus is linked to what makes us happy and what makes us feel that the content of our life is lining up the way it ought to. What causes Venus in Aries to be happy is a feeling of power and potency. They need to feel that they're taking a risk, furthering a cause, and breaking some ground. It's a macho placement. Even in women, there's a gunslinging element to the personality. Now, if Venus in Aries is the intellectual type, then all this goes on in the realm of thought and ideas. And they usually like rules of engagement in their battles because that's the principled way. To conclude, the personality of this placement tends to be strong. They can stand up and state a case with passion and rally people, which is in some cases precious and in others exhausting. My two pieces of advice is firstly, slow down. And secondly, when you do succeed, never forget who helped you get there. Thank you for watching Secrets from an Astrologer's Desk, Venus in Aries. I'm Joy. More videos to come.